Matt Bernier with a stakes preview, taking a look at the sixth race at Santa Anita on Sunday afternoon. This is the 5 furlong desert code on grass for 3-year-olds. We're going to use the new Classic PPs, go through this field in post position order, show you a little bit of the functionality of the new Classic PPs that you can find over on DRF.com. We'll begin with the Timeform US pace projector because I think that's an important piece to take a look at. And I say that we're looking at the pace projector. Obviously, it's not part of these PPs, but I can go through and write it in here. This is the area that you make notes for the race. You can see I've gone in and put the pace projector in. 64532. That is the way that Timeform US lays this thing out. So Ginger Nut, who I did not choose to write into the pace projector because she'll be coming from last, she'll take on the boys here in this spot. And look, I like what she's done in 2 lifetime starts here in the United States for John Sadler. I thought this first run down at Gulfstream Park, considering the start early, she had to really steady hard. And I thought it was a situation where she really, I would have excused her for not running on at all. Instead, she did rally with a nice late turn of foot. And I thought she was sitting on a big one here at Keeneland at 5.5 furlongs, exactly what we saw. She went out there, got the job done. To me, sure, this race at Keeneland has not come back all that strong. But I think you have to respect any time a filly like this has as large a turn of foot as she does. I personally am not a giant sort of weight player, but it's worth noting she's getting in at 119, and some of the boys in this spot are going to be carrying a little bit more weight. That includes the number 2 listing, goes out for Ben Cecil. This is a 3-year-old son of Square Eddie turning back in distance. For those of you that are unfamiliar, you see these different colored figures. The green figures, they're still Beyer speed figures, but they came on turf. The black ones, they came on the main track, whether it's dirt or synthetic. So you can see that so far to date, there's a stark contrast in the form of listing when it comes to his turf races, these 3, or his main track races, these ones. I think this is going to be an interesting spot. Turning back in distance, look, he's done good things going shorter, but I do think, to date anyway, I don't know that he's run fast enough to win a race like this, and I also don't know from a pace situation where he's going to be positioned, because I know he was relatively close going down the hill at 6.5, but there's a giant difference between 6.5 and a flat 5. I think he's going to be coming from much farther out of it in this spot, and if I'm looking for just a horse with a turn of foot, I think I prefer Ginger Nut over Listing. Legends of War goes out for Doug O'Neill. Flavien Prat picks up the mount here. This is a 3-year-old son of Scat Daddy. They paid $200,000 for him. This is an interesting spot because I thought he ran quite well in that run 2 starts back, and I don't think he ran poorly in the most recent run, stretching out in distance. A little bit of a pet angle of mine. You can see he has paired up Beyer tops of 78. These are the only 2 races he has run here in the United States. I'm going to be curious to see. They went from 5/8 out to 8 furlongs. Now we drop back to 5 furlongs again. Where's he going to be positioned? I think you get a similar running style to this from that William Walker at Churchill Downs. If he comes with that effort, he's in with a chance. I thought it was interesting. That race came with blinkers on. The most recent one, blinkers off. The blinkers presumably are off again here on Sunday. We'll find out what Legends of War is capable of. Rafale, or Raffle, however you'd like to pronounce it, for Bob Baffert and Joe Talamo. This is an interesting run with the number 4. This is a son of Alpha that they paid $150,000 for at the OBS April sale in 2018. You see Alpha, you see Bernardini. Initially, turf doesn't really come to mind, and I find it a little bit of an interesting move that Baffert takes this horse who breaks his maiden on the main track. I know it was on a wet, fast surface, but immediately goes to the grass with him. I'll be curious to see what we get from this. And look, this has actually not been a totally unheard of move for Baffert over the past handful of years. He's actually won with 2 of 8 starters making this move, breaking your maiden on dirt, switching over to the turf in the next start. This horse is going to have big speed, and I could see a situation where you get a few of these runners that get up there and really want to just throw it down, most notably Raffle or Rafale, as well as the 6 Strictly Biz, who we'll get to in a moment. If he takes to the turf, I think you always have to respect speed in these 5/8 dashes. We'll find out what we get from this horse going out for Baffert and Talamo. Oliva, another Doug O'Neill entrant. This one with Rafael Bejarano in the irons. Most recently tried 5/8 of a mile on turf for the first time. It was a successful debut going this sort of configuration. From a numbers standpoint, I think we'll need to improve slightly, but it is nice to note that this 3rd place finisher, Carnivorous, he came back and won next out with a 78 Beyer speed figure on synthetic, so perhaps Perhaps this race is actually a little bit faster than what the speed figure would initially indicate. Another instance, though, going to need to prove that this one actually stacks up well against better company. And we get to the last runner in this field. This is the number 6, Strictly Biz. Goes out for Brian Coroner. Coroner's raw numbers with these 180 or greater layoffs, pretty strong, about 35%. But in instances like this, I know it's a small sample size, with the maiden winner last out, coming off such a long layoff, I believe 0 for 4, and none of them fit the board. This is another one, though, that's going to show some big speed in this spot. And I could see a scenario where this one duels with Baffert's horse. It's number 4, Rafal. And I don't know if that's going to set up well for either of them. I think they could end up paying the price. Keep in mind, they'll both be facing winners for the first time. But I do think it ensures that horses coming from off the pace are going to have every opportunity, and that's what leads me to the inside horse. I just think Ginger Nut is really talented. I don't mind that she's taking on boys here in this spot. The 5/8 distance isn't an issue for her, and I think both of her United States starts have been very, very strong. Goes out for the Red Hot Barn of John Sadler. Drayden Van Dyke has the mount here. Ginger Nut is going to be my play in the Sunday race at Santa Anita. This is the 6th race, the $75,000 Desert Code. If you're curious about anyone else's opinions of this race, you can click on News and Analysis, see who Brad Free likes, see who some other daily racing form handicappers are interested in. If you have questions about stats and things of that nature, you click on the jockey statistics. This will pop up, show you that Flavien Prat is currently the leading rider, or tied with Joel Rosario as far as win percentage, but has a pretty healthy lead as far as actual wins are concerned. For the meeting, you've got a number of other stats that you can take a look at here in this drop-down menu. And if you're one of those folks that likes to print out your PPs and you're concerned that you're not going to have them, click on this click print PPs. That's a mouthful. Click print PPs button, and it drops down this menu. You can click on single race, brings up the PDF. You go right over and you can print that off. It's a beautiful thing. One-stop shop, because then you can also click on wagering and live video, make all your bets through DRF Bets. The 6th race at Santa Anita on Sunday afternoon, the 5-furlong Desert Code on grass. I like the girl against the boys. I like Ginger Nut. Who do you like? Check it out with the new classic PPs on DRF.com.